Our third panelist is Nana Skari Medugu. She heads Sustainability and ESG at Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, where she's responsible for developing and driving all of NSIA's sustainability strategy and climate initiatives. Nana has extensive experience in infrastructure investment, particularly in originating, executing, and managing strategic and impactful investments in the agriculture and motorway sectors. Nana was previously at KPMG, and she holds a bachelor's degree in computer systems engineering from the University of Kent. She also holds a master's degree in oil and gas management from the University of Dundee. Nana, you're most welcome. And last but surely not the least, Abdulkadir Oladapo is an infrastructure finance portfolio management lead at the UK Nigeria Infrastructure Advisory Facility. Abdul is the portfolio management lead through his work at UK NIAF, which is funded by FCDO. He is actively delivering an investment pipeline of over $1.1 billion. Abdul is also coordinating UK NIAF's work in shaping Nigeria's climate finance agenda, including initiatives such as the National Climate Change Fund and the Climate Finance Database. You're welcome, Abdul. Please join us. Okay, great. Think a bit about how Nigeria is approaching climate finance. And I want to throw this question specifically open to Nana and Lai particularly. Is Nigeria doing the right things and thinking in the right way about bringing in climate finance into the country? Or are we just dangling the prospect of billions of dollars out there for climate finance and for projects?
Is this working? Okay, yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Habiba, for that question. I think in order to assess the effectiveness of Nigeria's approach to climate finance, we have to evaluate some of the policies, actions, and outcomes, of the government. So generally, Nigeria is one of those countries, just like a lot of countries, in the global south, where we're trying to balance socioeconomic priorities with, climate change initiatives. So in thinking of Nigeria's approach, I think there are key considerations, and the first is around policy, right? There have been strides in policy development, so be it the, passage of the Climate Change Act or the revision of Nigeria's NDCs, the nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement, or other policies and regulations or initiatives and plans around climate change and energy transition. But then it's one thing to develop, all these policies and plans, and then it's another thing to implement, these policies as well. And in order to mobilize, the adequate amount of climate financing into the country, then we have to have, adequate regulatory frameworks not just adequate regulatory frameworks, but implementing those frameworks in the right way. So that would not just attract more climate finance, but also amplify the impact of this climate finance. A second point to note is capacity. When you think of capacity, again, in not just Nigeria, but Africa, or even in the global south, particularly in the climate space, it's still being built, right? It's somewhat nascent, and so there's still a lot of capacity gap, however you look at it. And I think that is an important thing that needs to happen, for us to mobilize, climate finance at scale into the continent. Another key thing is, investments or initiatives. Um, we don't have as many, will I say, bankable investments or initiatives, particularly in terms of, when you look at the climate space, not just infrastructure generally, specifically climate investments. And with a lot of climate finance out there, so whether it's from climate finance institutions or private sector investments, or even through bilateral relationships, we don't have investment ready initiatives or initiatives that make sense. So you have all this money, but you're unable to mobilize it because there isn't clarity as to how this will be implemented. There isn't clarity as to, what is the end goal? How is this investment? Is this investment even bankable?